All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Geek Surviving the Coronavirus Apocalypse podcast series because, hey, who the hell expected after the first one last week, Monday, where we were talking about getting prepared and, buying, and everybody made fun of me. I sent it to my friends. I sent it to the DFS Army. Everybody's like, you're fucking nuts, man. This was a week ago Monday. And look where we are today. A week has passed since part one. Everything is closed. Schools are shut down. I just got finished watching a press conference with the president talking about no gatherings more than 10 people. Shit got real in a hurry. And so here we are in essentially what is hopefully self-imposed quarantines, and hopefully everybody's doing this, right? Staying away from people. I have it in my head to just, let me get my 10 days in and make sure I haven't been in contact with anybody so I can feel safe that I'm not infected, right? And today we're going to talk about what we can do now in terms of preparing our bodies just in case we do get sick, because one of the things that I'm hearing, and I don't know if this is true, is that it's possible that 50 to 70% of people, much like a normal flu, will encounter this pathogen in one form or another. It's not going to sicken everybody, but we don't want to be the ones that get sick. So what can we do to prepare ourselves for what is happening, what is coming, what they're telling us is likely? We don't know for sure. So to discuss this topic, I've brought on Stacy Seslowsky. She is and I'm going to try to get the name of the full occupation right here, registered dietitian and functional nutrition specialist. And yes, that's a very fancy title, but I want to first quickly, there's a difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian. People don't all know it. A dietitian is trained for multiple years, going to something similar to medical school with licensing and all kinds of crazy shit. A nutritionist is more of somebody like that got a certificate. It's different. Okay, there's a different level of classification here. And Stacy has helped my family in the past with other things. She is the best. So I'm super excited to have you on. We've got Alan here. I don't know what the hell you're doing here, really, to help modify, to babysit. I'm not sure why you're here. We'll talk fantasy football later.
Sounds good. Hey, Stacy.
How you doing?
Welcome, Stacy, to the live stream here. And, so what we wanted to talk about here. So, man, the president literally just had this conference, and now they're talking about potentially out till June, July with some of these, restrictions on gatherings and all of this. We're all sitting here at home, going crazy, freaking out a little bit, trying to keep it together. So give me a little background, like what do you know in terms of the spread of this pathogen? What have you sort of discovered in your research? And I have some crazy questions for you that I'm seeing all kinds of cockamamie things on the internet that I would like to either debunk or not debunk with you. But first, give us an idea of how this thing is getting around.
But before, why don't we just start? Stacy, just tell everybody, because not a lot of people know what you do. Tell everyone what you do, what you studied, and why you're even credible to talk about this subject.
So hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on. I am, like you said, a registered dietitian. I have been a registered dietitian for over 20 years, which means that 20 years ago, I took a lot of science classes that I was ready basically to go to medical school, but I chose to study nutrition instead. After all of those science and medical classes, I then did an internship and then took a test and then became a registered dietitian. Since then, I also went back to school to get my master's degree in human nutrition and functional medicine, which really means that I uncover the root cause of imbalances and learn how to use customized nutrition and sometimes supplements and medicine to treat things that might not be obvious, like subclinical problems that might not be obviously found by a doctor, but still causing some sort of imbalance in the body. And my main goal is to always to use food as medicine to heal whatever underlying imbalance there is. And with regards to the coronavirus, I've done a lot of research through medical journals and all of the experts that I listen to on podcasts and lectures, YouTube, and things like that. So I have tried to do a lot of digging with people that I highly respect in science and medicine to understand as much as I could about what's going on.
Nice. Excellent credentials. And I will say, like I said, heal from food is a beautiful thing. Really, really something that our doctors just for some reason refuse to consider. They're almost like taught against it. They're wrong. They're just wrong. And I've seen it firsthand that absolutely a lot of things in life can be sort of treated and healed with food. And so, which brings us to Corona. We're not healing from food from Corona, but what we can do, I believe, is prepare ourselves and our bodies, boost our immune system as much as possible to handle this. Because everything I'm seeing so far says, listen, a lot of people are likely to get this, but you can explain maybe the numbers a little bit better, but I'm hearing, anywhere from 60 to 80% of people that will get this really won't even notice that they have it, which is why I personally believe that we have way more infected in this country than people even can fathom right now. We haven't been testing for it, and a lot of people just don't know. So I think it's a much higher incidence. So I think the way you want to prepare yourself and your family is really, hey, what can I do right now? And is it too late? Is it too late for me to start taking some vitamin C and do stuff like that? But to prepare yourself to boost your immunity and hopefully be able to weather it if we do get it, so that we don't have to go to the hospital, we don't take up a bed, hopefully we don't die, and we could survive it better. So Stacy, give me an idea so far in terms of your research. What can we be doing at this time to sort of boost ourselves and increase our odds of not having a hospitalization in case we do get this?
Yeah, so you brought up so many good points. What I want to get across first is that we should not just assume that only older people are going to have the worst symptoms of this. Really, I can guarantee you that there are 75-year-old people out there who have a more healthy immune system than many 30 and 40-year-old people. So that's why I think everybody really needs to take this seriously and do whatever they can do for themselves, just in case you are one of those younger people who maybe has an underlying risk factor that you may not even be aware of. So just for example, you may be vitamin D deficient and you might not know it. And just because it didn't show up as deficient on your last blood test doesn't mean you weren't at the lower range where the doctor did not recognize it as a problem, but you possibly, don't have enough vitamin D to mount a healthy immune response. So this is absolutely the time to do everything you can to maximize your immune system and the strength of your immune system. There you go.
It's on my desk. It's literally, I just pop these throughout the day. Am I doing this wrong?
What is that?
I'm an hour passed. I need another vitamin D. I've just been popping them.
Well, what is that? What are you holding up for people that are listening on the audio cast? What are you holding up there?
That's I'm not doing a commercial for this company, but it's a vitamin D3, and it said wellness on the package, and I'm like, oh, well. Yeah. That's what I need. I need wellness here.
If you're listening to this right now on Facebook or YouTube, please share it. We want to get it out there during the live broadcast. Let's keep sharing it. I see a lot of people are doing that. We've already quadrupled in viewers just in the last minute or so, because this is good information. I know we're making jokes here, but just how scared do we need to be, Stacy? And what exactly? I mean, we see on the news that it's the end of the world. You hear people that saying, don't worry, nothing's going to happen. Where should our fear meter, where should our concern meter be? If 10 is, oh my God, end of the world. 1 is, I'm burying my head in the sand. Where should I be right now?
So without giving it a number, what I would say is scared enough that you are going to do everything possible to keep yourself distanced and sanitized, but not too scared that your stress level is going to increase your risk of, of not being able to handle whatever illness comes on you.
Uh-oh.
So scared enough that you're prepared, but then, lower your stress level, because there's something called stress chemistry. And stress chemistry means that your body's literally creating compounds that will help your body handle the stress that you're feeling emotionally, but will inhibit your body from being able to cure itself from an illness. So there has to be some sort of middle ground where you're doing everything you can, but then because you're doing everything you can, that you can relax and stay calm.
Wait. I need to ask the second. I need to follow that question up.
Okay.
Now, I'm stuck in here in the house, and a lot of people are with their kids, their wives, very restless. I don't know how you keep your stress level down with restless kids screaming, going crazy, everybody packed in together, no air. Like, how am I supposed to keep my stress level down? It's crazy over here. I think I'm over the edge.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. And that's why you're going to have to do things that are intentionally to lower your stress level. Knowing that this is a rough time and this is a stressful time, you're going to have to choose to do things that will lower your stress. So whether that be...
Are you saying I should be smoking marijuana?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
Whether that be take a walk outside, get some fresh air, go on YouTube and pick an exercise routine, go onto your Calm meditation app and take 10 minutes and go into the bathroom and breathe. All of these things you can't just assume that stress is going to go down because you're, not at work. You have to intentionally add these things to your schedule so that you have moments during the day that are totally to yourself, where you can calm your head, especially if you feel it building up inside of you. Then this is a moment. I need to take a break. I need to go in here by myself and breathe and separate myself. Go listen to music or turn on your DFS and start, making some bets or something.
What better de-stressor than wagering actual money on Turkish soccer leagues?
There you go.
or millennial kids playing video games against one another and betting on it.
Oh, we got a
League of Legends. A lot of people like my suggestion for my suggestion for de-stressing seems to be the most popular. Oop. That works too.
Listen, if that is what it takes, that's better than smoking cigarettes, because smoking cigarettes is a big risk factor for worsening the effects of coronavirus. So CBD, if that's what it takes to calm you down, then that's necessary in a time like this.
I have a legit question for a lot of our viewers, and I know our viewership. Mm-hmm. Like the smoke from the cigarette irritating the esophagus. How does that affect potential pneumonias? Because there is the actual action of taking smoke into your lungs, be it a cigarette or other things.
Yeah, the three parts of your system that are most affected by the coronavirus is obviously the immune system, the respiratory system, and the circulatory system. So this means that if you already have a risk factor, an underlying emphysema or respiratory failure, that puts you at higher risk. If you have something that's slowing your blood circulation, so like hypertension or something like that, then that gives you more risk. And then if you're doing something that's going to affect your immune system, like not eating a healthy diet, or smoking cigarettes, which actually does a combination of those things, probably all three, then you're putting yourself at higher risk by affecting any of those three things. And on the flip side, if you can do things to boost one of those three or all of them to make you healthier, then you're going to prevent some of the symptoms or weaken the symptoms of the virus. So that's where we can get into talking about, some food and things you can do to fix one of those symptoms or systems.
That's where I was going to just jump into next. So getting back to all seriousness, foods, supplements, what should we be doing here? We have all the time in the world with our families right now to pretty much cook a meal. Remember to take a supplement. We have that stuff in the house. It's available for ordering. It's not like, I feel like it's an infomercial. I'm like, here, order now. But we're not selling any supplements here. So let's be clear. But it's available for ordering. That's not a way. So give me an idea, Stacy, of some foods that we can eat / what types of supplements should we really be taking. Somebody I see in the comments asked about elderberry. We've heard about elderberry. We've heard about echinacea. We certainly know, again, the D3. I got my vitamin C up in her as well. I got all that. But so there's the elderberry question. And I'm sure there are other things. I don't know. You're the expert. What should we be taking right now? Boost the immune system so that hopefully we're ready, our families are ready to fight this thing off, assuming that we get it at some point, which could happen.
Yeah. Okay. So all really great questions. The number one thing to do first is eat a nutrient-dense, nutrient-diverse diet. So what that means is eat as many different kinds of fruits and vegetables and unprocessed animal protein as you can. So like, for example, when I go to the supermarket and I see that the first aisle that is missing of food is like the chips and the cookies, that's a problem. We should be seeing the vegetables and the fruits being emptied way before we see all the chips and, all the candy and stuff like that being emptied. Every single time you eat is an opportunity for you to eat a vitamin or a mineral that is going to boost your immune cells, help circulate your blood, and help you breathe better. And that's what food does. So, and all of those supplements that you talk about, vitamin D, vitamin A, and C, all of those things are from food. So first, get those things from food, that they're more absorbable from food. And, that's the way our bodies are meant to, get our vitamins and minerals is from food. Of course, the supplements can help, but the food is the number one.
Can I just jump in for a second? It's, like when you're not feeling well, when you're scared, or, sometimes when you've just had like an operation and you're sitting on the couch, that you want to go to those comfort foods, the chicken Parmesan, the chips, if you're feeling a little down.
That stuff reduces my stress, Stacey.
Right. Me too.
I need that.
And when I'm home and I go to that type of food, that's when Stacy says, this is the time when your body's healing that you need to actually even improve your diet. And I'm like, well, I just want the chicken Parmesan. I'm a little down. I hurt my leg, or I just had it. So no, that's the time that you got to double up on the greens, and that's where we are now. And that's how she explains it to me as well, is this is the time to hit up all those nutrient-dense foods. This is the time to take those comfort foods and put them to the side. So when you are, and we all will, chances are we all will be exposed to this virus in some way or another, but we'll have the built immunity to fight it off.
Yeah. And I'll add to that, not only it's like a double whammy when you eat a chip or a cookie or a candy instead of the fruit or vegetable, because not only are you missing out on the goodness that comes from those healthier foods, but then you're getting sugar and processed compounds, additives and preservatives that actually do the opposite. They actually add, your stress to your body. They tell your body that you have to now detox these additional ingredients, while instead you want your body to be using energy to boost your immune system. So you're getting like a double whammy right there. So that's why it's especially important right now to be eating as healthy as you possibly can.
So let's because not everybody knows what nutrient dense things are, and you just said sugar as if it's a bad thing, and I'm like, what? I'm putting 3 sugars in my coffee every morning, having 2 of those. I got the gummies, they're loaded up. So let's get into what these foods actually are. So nutrient dense, I think we all know things like, eat greens. Now, I actually think it's going to be challenging to get a lot of greens. A lot of us, you mentioned people are loading up on non-perishable food, and we want the perishable foods. But listen, when you're trying to load up your house and load up your food supply with things that will last more than 2 weeks, my goal in shopping, and what I talked about a week ago on the same podcast, was, listen, fill your house up with things that can last for a little bit. And we talked about tuna. My primary is tuna, There's a lot of zinc in the tuna. I know about, not the zinc. I know it's got the mercuries, but I don't care. I got the tuna.
But that's a great point. Stop on tuna. So you can buy the Bumblebee tuna, or Stacy, take it here. Are there some alternative tunas that will last and be preserved in a can, but are healthier options?
In general, tuna can have high amounts of mercury, no matter what source you're getting it from. I always recommend eating fish about 3 times a week. Tuna, I think, is a good option in these times. It definitely has the good omega-3 fatty acids. And like you said, it's, it can be kept for a long time. Some other ideas are freeze healthy foods. Freeze healthy foods in smaller portions so that you can take them out one by one and defrost them as you need them. But, it's still not the time to just default to unhealthy food. Like this is, however, all of this takes effort. Eating healthy always takes effort. It's always more expensive. But what is more expensive, or what is of more, worth to you, is spending more money and time and work on this right now, or spending more time, money, and work on getting healthy once you're sick.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to you're gonna have to weigh, the risk and benefit of making these decisions. But and I hate to have this tough love, but that's just what it's hard. But it takes work to stay healthy. You
gotta eat healthy. I was actually able to find, I had said all that about the tuna and the pasta and all that, and I still believe in those things, the cereals as well, and just having a lot of that in your house, more so for the factor of give me a way to avoid having to go to the supermarket every 4th day. Like, sad to say, a lot of people I know are doing, they're just telling me, well, we go in to the supermarket every morning and, because we didn't really stock up. And I'm going, that's the worst place to be, man.
Right. The idea is to stay away.
I was able to find wild caught fish that was frozen. And I never buy that product, but I'm like, oh, what's this? And it was great, really vacuum sealed wild caught fish products, and all wild caught, different kinds of fish that have a variety. And oh, there's a good questioner.
Yeah, we had two good ones. We had the one about just answer this one quick, and then we'll go to Lara's question. Read this one out, because I don't even know what the hell that is.
Right. I've been using L-theanine, which helps support the brain function, plus has a calming effect. Yeah. And he's just saying, hey, what about this L-theanine?
What is that?
Yeah, no, we've been getting some good questions, and I really do want to get to the elderberry as well. But L-theanine is a great. It is helpful to improve the GABA in your brain, which is the relaxing neurotransmitter, and it's actually really helpful if you're a coffee drinker and you get the jitters. Then when you take L-theanine, it sort of counteracts that, because like I said, it triggers the GABA in your brain. So I'm a big fan of L-theanine. It's great if you have a little bit of anxiety. I'm all for it. Love
Kevin,
it.
These are questions at our dinner table, by the way. This is what I'm dealing with.
You're talking about L-theanine at dinner? I love that she knew not only how to pronounce it, but about the GABA in the brain. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. Science, man. There's a reason there are letters.
Science, man.
Degrees.
So some other ways, magnesium, that may be something more familiar to you. Magnesium is another nutrient that improves the GABA in your brain. A lot of people take magnesium before they go to sleep to do similar things. Melatonin is another good calming to be taken before you go to sleep. And not only is melatonin calming, but it is also an antioxidant, which is extremely helpful if you start to create the immune cells to fight off a virus. Then you're also going to need the antioxidant to help get rid of all that oxidative stress that comes along with immune cells. So, and I could get into that in a little bit, but I do want to say with the elderberry.
I'll go back to that question. Go ahead.
So I'm going to say a big no for elderberry. I'm not in agreement. And that is because, and I know this is a very common thing that everybody thinks elderberry is really helpful for viruses, but what it does is
those drinks that we just bought have elderberry in them, those synergy drinks, those kombucha drinks.
Oh, well, it's probably not a lot, but I'm going to have to look through that again. Because what elderberry does is it increases the body's immune cells that help you fight viruses, which you would think is a good thing at this time. We want to fight viruses. But those immune cells, I said it a minute ago, are are very stressful on the body. And one of the things that we're noticing with coronavirus in particular is that it's causing a lot of those immune cells to build up all at once, and your body's not able to handle all of that oxidative stress. Eventually that could lead to autoimmunity. So elderberry is one of those things that in the long term really could have an effect on autoimmunity, and also adding to that oxidative stress of all those immune cells.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Actually, yes, it does. And I just basically elderberry, no good. But we, like I said, we have a whole fridge full of those damn things. So we're gonna have to take a look at those.
We don't have any elderberry in our refrigerator. We have blueberries and raspberries.
The kombucha, the new seasonal kombucha drink.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Just the fact that you can stomach kombucha is just, I don't even know what to say about that. But all right. Let me, I have a secondary player. So we're talking about supplements. Oh, here we go. Of course. Here we go. What about fresh fruit and veggies? Should we worry about people who are sick packing and touching the trucks, touching the food once it arrives at the grocery store?
Basically, all the
touching food that all these disgusting people have touched along the way.
Right. So what should you do? Should you wash your fruit? Should you not wash your fruit? Does it matter? Talk about that, because that's a common question.
Wash your fruit, man.
You absolutely
not necessarily. Listen to this one. You
have to wash your fruit and vegetables right before you eat them, but don't wash them in advance, because that will make them go bad. So either you're going to wash them and put them in the freezer.
Stop. Why will it make them go bad if you wash them?
Because fruits and vegetables have inherently have protection against bacteria and going bad.
So natural preservatives.
Exactly. So when you wash those off, then they're gonna, and especially if the fruits and vegetables stay a little bit wet, then there's a lot more chance that they're going to start to grow molds and things like that. So I never wash anything until right before I'm about to eat it, or put them right into the freezer right after you wash them. But I mean, to Lara's question, we have to eat. Unfortunately, there's going to be people touching everything that we eat and everything that we take, supplements, everything. People are going to be touching all these things. So, that is, I mean, I worry about that. I do worry about that, but
gotta wash your food now.
Yeah,
should I wash it with soap and water, or should I dip it in vinegar and use white vinegar and just soak it in the vinegar?
Spray vegetables with Lysol.
Yeah, no, just water, just clean filtered water if you could.
No, you need soap too. I mean,
and this is the other thing, and actually, this is another important thing, is that you can only do so much when it comes to your exposure, but you can do a lot more when it comes to building your own immune system. So like you said, 40 to 70% of people are going to eventually get exposed to this virus. The strongest thing.
People too scared.
Not get sick. No, listen, this is a real number. 40 to 70% of people are going to be exposed to it. How your body reacts to it,
right.
It may be nothing, but you are 40%, 4 out of every 10 people in this country will likely, and that's a conservative estimate. That's according to Michael Osterholm, who was on the Joe Rogan podcast, who is the lead germ. He's a germ detective by his own description. Will come in contact with this virus. It's almost unavoidable. It's what happens when you come in contact with that virus that Stacy's talking about here today.
Yeah, let's get down to brass tacks, Stace. What should I be taking now before an exposure, and secondarily, and this is important, and I don't think a lot of people talk about, what if I think I'm exposed and I've been exposed to it? What if I'm kind of feeling I'm feeling a little tired, I'm not sure what's going on, but I am feeling so great. But I'm afraid, how with the flu, we want to quickly take some zinc or some cold, you take the zinc real quick, you take an airborne, or you take some Tamiflu. Obviously Tamiflu, from what I understand, don't take that. But what should we do now in advance? And if I'm not feeling well, if I'm kind of holy shit, I shouldn't have gone out to the supermarket this morning and waited in line for 2 hours for the 4 rolls of toilet paper, and now I'm feeling a little weird, it's 2 days later, what should I do then to sort of give myself my best shot of diminishing the effects of a potential virus using food and using supplements and using that kind of approach?
Yeah.
And now assume that I'm a schlub who sits on a computer all day and drinks beers constantly and had forgotten about healthiness up until about 3 days ago.
So some of the vitamins that you want to start taking are vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin C, and zinc. Those are the supplements that I would start, and you can start those before you get sick. You could start those now. Vitamin D is what you get when you're in the sun. So getting some sun exposure is probably the best way to get vitamin D. If you're not getting a lot of sun, absolutely start taking a supplement. Vitamin A is what you get when you eat. Well, it's highest in some, seafood and some animal proteins, but you can also things like carotenoids, like carrots, all the orange and red vegetables. That's vitamin A. Vitamin C, we already know, is in all of our fruits and vegetables, but you can start taking a supplement of vitamin C as well, and zinc also. And I could,
Is there a natural way to get zinc outside of taking the pill?
Zinc is actually really high in like things like oysters and sardines and all those seafood foods.
Kevin won't eat that.
I literally told everybody not to buy sardines because I was like, just buy something that you could possibly stomach.
I have a whole
sardines. Now you're telling me I needed sardines.
I have a whole closet full of that stuff, man.
Damn.
Some of the herbs, I know, because someone brought up elderberry before. So some of the herbs that are a little bit better, that don't cause that same, those really stressful immune cells, but that are healthier and can help you fight off viruses, are Astragalus. You're gonna have trouble spelling that one. Astragalus.
Can you put that in the comment section, Alan? Because
Sure. What is that? What is Astragalus? What does it do?
What is that and what does it do?
Astragalus and Andrographis are two herbs that will I don't know where I could type it. I could spell it. You could spell it. But those are ones that help build the cells in your body that will fight off viruses. But they won't do what elderberry does, which is increase the oxidative stress and also cause autoimmunity later on.
I want to touch on the elderberry thing. I actually heard specifically, I had read about this as well, that because the it's awesome that you literally hit on the exact same thing. I'd read that because the coronavirus creates this sort of explosion of autoimmune stuff, that elderberry was not helpful. I've also heard something else, and I want to throw this at you, Stace. That I heard that ibuprofen and anti-inflammatory is not the ideal medicine for bringing down the fever. Do you know anything about this? And have you heard anything about this? Because I did read in the same thing with the elderberry that I read about. They said, don't use Advil if you have the fever, use other fever reducers, which is totally crazy to me, but that's what they said. Have you heard anything about this?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that your body needs a certain amount of those immune cells to fight off viruses. So when you take, especially people that are taking corticosteroids or anything that impairs your body's ability to make immune cells, then you're not
steroids. What are those? Who would be taking that?
Like people, corticoid, people that are taking anti-inflammatories when they have rheumatoid arthritis or they have some autoimmune diseases, and they take these anti-inflammatories so that they stop getting rashes or they stop getting some symptoms of inflammation. So if you're on that, that means that your body is losing the ability to make immune cells to fight off viruses. So that's why any of those kind of medications that stop your body's ability to make immune cells, you're no longer going to be able to fight off a virus.
Does that include ibuprofen and?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yep. And then the other side effect of those medications is they also they can harm your gut. And we all know that we really need all the good bacteria in our stomach to help us fight everything, to help us digest our food, to help promote, inhibit extra inflammation that is not necessary. So anything that you take that harms the gut is also not good.
So what in the event of a fever, what medications should people have on hand? and be taking instead of ibuprofen? Is it like Tylenol, or is there something else?
Anything that's going to lower your body is using fever as a way to fight the infection. So anything that you do to lower the fever may inhibit your body from fighting the infection.
Yeah, I mean, if you absolutely must, Stacy, aspirin, right? That's what you always say. If you absolutely must, but she doesn't even recommend.
You say ride out the fever and let it just go without reducing it?
At this point, this is the problem. That's why people are rushing to the hospital, because we can't figure out how to handle it in those moments when it's really bad. And that's why we're trying to stagger slow down how many people get this virus all at once, because we don't have anything really right now except for building up our own immune system. We don't have anything to make it go away. You know?
I think what Kevin's asking though is, say you're home and your kid is like just has a fever and it's starting to creep past 100, 101. I mean, you got to give them something. Medication.
Yeah, I mean, you can try using those, like you said, aspirin. I mean, that's like probably all we have that we could use at this point.
And as a child should be able to tolerate some of those other things a little bit better, right? Some of the
children they don't seem to be getting this virus nearly to the extent that older people are. They are able to mount this immune response easier than some older people can, and they're able to fight this off. So it's not the kids that we're worried about. If your kids get it, then you should really worry about yourself, because you're going to get it probably worse. So start with those, all those vitamins that I said: vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin C, zinc, the Astragalus, Andrographis. Those are things you could order on Amazon and have them in the house, because they will help you build the cells you need to fight a virus.
And in terms
I didn't see that last question that was there. I don't know if you
No, he was just mentioning that acetaminophen is something they give you when you have a fever. They're giving you acetaminophen at the hospital, like Tylenol or whatever that stuff is, probably.
Yeah, but that's the whole basis of Stacy's company, is that doctors are immediately, no matter what ailment you go in, are treating you with medicine versus food.
Yeah,
they're treating symptoms, not underlying causes.
And the idea, and again, I've seen it firsthand. Actually, you mentioned the Rogan podcast. I mean, one of the best ones I ever saw was with I forget the girl's name, Peterson.
Jordan Peterson,
his daughter, who had food allergies, and she's only eating meat now, and she couldn't eat anything else. She's allergic to everything, and just how, and we've seen it with other people, and especially it seems like with autoimmune issues, that seems to be like a really, really great area where food is just like so super important. Everything. So what should I be eating for dinner? Is it the obvious things that we don't eat because we just like to be disgusting, fat, like animals? Like, should I just, should I just be having what is obvious, organic chicken with broccoli and cauliflower and that kind of thing, carrots, just vegetables, little starch, just like eat like what you would picture as a healthy person? Is there specifics things that we should be doing? Because most of us are eating pasta and pasta and
and more pasta.
Like your chicken parm, what are we having for dinner? Ravioli. So what should we be doing really? Give me a typical dinner, a healthy dinner that we have on hand, because we're all quarantined here. Like, we're basically at home, not so easy to shop, not quarantined, but kind of trying to stay away from people, trying to isolate. So what should we be doing?
So I always try to teach people that 50% of their plate should be vegetables and fruit. A quarter of the plate should be protein. And then the last quarter of your plate can be something like resistant starch, which is beans or sweet potato or some of the starchier vegetables, the fiber that feeds the good bacteria in your gut. It's always good to eat whole foods that are not processed, like I said before. So you could look at ingredient lists and labels and make sure you're eating that it only contains the food that you're trying to eat, and not any of those preservatives and additives that make for processed food. Another thing that we haven't yet touched on, which is really critical, is all of the antioxidants and anti-inflammatories that will be necessary if your body is creating all of those immune cells that I talked about before that cause oxidative stress. So antioxidants are found in things like green tea, also dark chocolate, more than 70% cacao. So those are some good options that have the antioxidants. And then some supplements I can also get into that are the antioxidants are something called N-acetylcysteine and glutathione. Those are ones that you don't have to spell out, but anybody could email me or look at my website and contact me, and I can give you much more specifics. But if you are starting to feel the effects, like you were saying before, starting to get sick, those are really helpful things to take. So like the N-acetylcysteine, the glutathione, I talked about melatonin before. Those are the green tea and the dark chocolate. Those are all antioxidants. And then many of us have heard of things like curcumin.
Turmeric.
Yep, turmeric, there you go. And that's another reason why adding as many spices to your food as possible, all the spices and all the herbs that you add to your food can help with this exact situation. So
now, what I'm hearing, and this is my messed up ear, is like I'm hearing like eat burritos. Is that am I
Did I
off?
say that?
You can make a healthy.
There's a protein in there. Like I'm like, burrito? Is that it? Because my normal routine is pizza, chicken wings, hamburger, right?
Right.
Then I repeat pizza, chicken wing, hamburger.
Right.
So I'm like, wait, this sounds like I've just been doing everything wrong. But I heard burrito. Like, did I hear that? Is that not the perfectly balanced protein, beans, and starch? Or
yeah, you absolutely can. You can eat a burrito. There's nothing wrong with a burrito as long as you have a side of vegetables and a side of, you add those beans, which is the resistant starch. You have the healthy meat in there, and then have a big portion of vegetables and maybe some fruit for dessert with a dark chocolate, and you're all set. Yeah,
I love this.
Eating healthy does not have to be bad.
Right. People often associate healthy with boring or bland. Just by listening to experts like Stacy talk, and if you go over to her website at healfromfood.com, it is loaded with free information, free recipes. Now, she does do some counseling, from everything to help people counsel with weight loss, to help you fight off autoimmune disease. If you've been to the doctor, if they've loaded you up with medication, and if you suffered for years, pre-diabetes, thyroid issues, go over and talk to her over there at healfromfood.com. Email her. Again, like I said, there's tons of free information. And Stacy's not here for her health. She's here to give out information, but she's here also to drum up interest in her counseling business, which handles these type of issues, and to handle many other problems as well. Stacy, is there anything I'm missing of the services that you provide, both for free and that you do for private counseling?
Just that I also have my Facebook group, which has for a year, and more than a year, I've been posting daily nutrition and health tips, exercise, lifestyle, all kinds of information in my Facebook group, which is another good way to.
And what's that group? What's it called?
To me. It's also on Facebook. Just Heal from Food is the name of the group. So I don't know if they can maybe contact you or I and just ask to be a part of my group, and then we can invite them.
Just go at Heal from Food and go in there. And I said, it's a ton of free information, everything from boosting immunity to, simple things you could do tomorrow. Like, I'll give you one tip that was on there, Geek, earlier this year that a lot of people liked. It was literally put your phone at nighttime on airplane mode to help improve sleep. And the reason, Stacy, you explain it. Why does putting your phone on airplane mode at nighttime, because most people leave their phone right next to their head, why does that help someone who might have some trouble sleeping?
Yeah, just because our phone is constantly sending out the EMF signals, constantly. So that actually does reach our brain and stimulates and triggers our brain. So if you're sleeping next to that all night, not only will it keep you awake, but then it could have long-term effects on our brain as well. So
I'm still guilty. Somebody asked if you're on.
Are you on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what's your Instagram name?
Heal from Food.
Okay. There you go.
I was going to say, I'm super guilty of the phone thingy at night, constantly like distracting. I hear ding. I'm like,
Yeah, but not
it's 3 in
even
the
if it's
morning.
on Kevin. Even if it's on silent, there's emissions coming off the phone, and because we all keep our phone close by within arm's reach, and if you just
Yeah.
put it on airplane mode at night, and it literally will stop those transmissions and your brain activity. Think about your brain activity. I'm moving my hands back and forth. It slows it down even zero, and that could literally help you tonight. That's not something you have to work for or go out and shop. That's something that, and those type of tips that she sends out on Instagram and in the Facebook group.
All right. So to recap everything, we're going to take supplements. If a lot of us have supplements, we talk about taking them. I'm talking from the lazy. You guys are so into the world of supplements that you don't realize, like, normal people were like, I got vitamins, but I take them like
I try telling her
whenever I remember, you know what I mean? Like, it never happens. Now be diligent about taking your supplements, your vitamin C, your vitamin D3. You mentioned vitamin A, some other things, zinc, all things that you can get by also eating a good amount of vegetables. If you can have fresh vegetables in your house right now, that's great. Leafy things, green things, orange things, peppers, carrots, of course, broccoli and cauliflower and all that shit is in the freezer. Yeah, I got the frozen stuff. What? And then for dinner,
The
antioxidants. Yeah, that's right. Antioxidants as well. For dinner, skip the pizza. I'm not skipping the pizza. I'm still having the pizza, but I'll have it for lunch. And then for dinner, we're gonna have just protein, lots of vegetables, lots of fruit, and starch, just like a normal meal, like barbecue. Basically, barbecue. That's what I consider. I put a potato, I put some chicken, I got a steak, and a little bit of vegetables. I grill up some zucchini. I'm good to go. Right now, if I'm sick. Same shit. We did not say, and I want to be clear. If I've got a high fever, I'm taking something to bring it down. There's no way I'm not. But the idea with the food here is to set up your immune system, so hopefully you don't get the high fever, so that you fight this stuff off before it gets to the point where your body gets the high fever.
And I think with that, with the painkillers like Advil and all that, Stacy wasn't saying in a critical situation don't take those things. She was just saying, like, people, self included, used to chug those like it was going out of style. If I was hungover, 2 Advil. If I had a little pain, a little headache, 2 Advil. And she's saying don't do that, because you only want to use these. You only want to use those things in an absolute emergency, and a high fever would definitely qualify.
Yeah, you definitely want to use it.
And those supplements I mentioned in the end will really also help with that. The N-acetylcysteine, the Glutathione, Curcumin, the green tea. Those are
green
all
tea. That's right. That's right. Green tea is so doable. Like, I like tea. I like green tea. Yeah. Why aren't I drinking green tea right now? I'm just swishing that shit around. I heard it's
really
good for you. Goes in everything. All right, we're going to wrap it up here. Stacy, thank you so much for coming on and sort of giving us, just dropping so much knowledge on us. This is great. And I hope that for everybody who's like checking this out, I know we're a DFS company and, what are you talking about, this stuff? But you know what? It's life. There's no sports right now. And we're into things other than just betting and gambling. Like, people want to hear this stuff. We want to live. We want everybody to be healthy. So this stuff is really important. Stacy, your website is healfromfood.com. It's Heal From Food on the gram. It's Heal From Food on Facebook. And if you have other ailments, this is really, this is a new thing, coronavirus. But like, if you have long-term ailments, and this is really where Stacy is just incredible. If you have like long-term ailments, aches, and you think you have fibromyalgia or some other made-up bullshit, it's probably something else. A lot of times it's what you're eating. You're allergic. You're not eating properly. You name like a disease, and Stacy's like, "Oh shit, you gotta drop the nightshades," and she's got it all figured out. It's pretty awesome. I don't know anything about that stuff, but that's it's really good stuff. She can help with that. So check that out as well. Tons of free info on that site and on the Facebook page, and I'm sure lots and lots of coronavirus updating going on as well. As far as the coronavirus series, I don't know. We'll keep them going as new topics come up. We're gonna continue to explore like what to expect next. We talked about the stock market on the last one. That'll be a topic that we'll continue with. I'm monitoring that. So there's a lot of stuff coronavirus related. How we're going to get through this? Let's get through it together. Let's stick together as a people, as a community, as a planet, as a race of people, and weather this thing as best we can. So that's what this is all about. I appreciate you, Sez, and you, Stacy, for coming on here. And we'll be back next time with more on this stuff. And, I'm just going to leave that there. We are planning a fantasy football related podcast later today. So check that out as well. We're going to try to keep entertainment as much as possible during these troubled times.
You need something to do.
I need to talk some fantasy football because I need something, man. My stress level is going up, and
to connect all the dots. Stacy's a pretty heavy hitter in the fantasy world too, taking down our home league twice in the last 5 years. So
she has done that as well.
I should have won this year too.
Yeah, didn't I win? Did I not win? Was it my win? This was my year. This was my year.
That was only because of Alan's bad rule.
All right, man. All right,
everybody. Not happy with the select your opponent in the playoffs rule, but
all right, let's just roll right into the fantasy football podcast. Here we go.
We will be back with the bold calls, fantasy football, talking about some of the free agent moves. Huge day today, so we'll talk about that later. Again, thanks guys for everything.
Bye-bye.